Carol. It's nice to meet you. How are you doing today?
Fine.
That's good. I'm Miss Brown, and I've been assigned as your new caseworker. Make yourself comfortable, and when you're ready, we can begin.
I think I'm ready.
Okay, I'm going to start off by going over the allegations with you. If there is anything that you may not understand or don't agree with, please let me know so that you can correctly tell your story. First, let me reassure you that I'm your caseworker, and I want to do all I can to help you move closer to our primary goal of reunifying you with your children. Okay?
All right.
Okay. The Texas Department of Family and Protective Services received a report accusing you, Carol, of being physically abusive to your two daughters, Sophie, who is 7, and Veronica, who is 4. Now, the allegations stated that you slapped one of the girls, leaving a bruise on the side of the child's face. In the report, there were also allegations of drug use between you, your husband, and your alleged paramour. The report further stated that there has been a history of infidelity between you and your husband. You, Carol, stated that the unsteady state of your marriage, along with job-related stress, has caused you to be depressed. Do you agree with what I've said so far?
Yes, but I only hit her once. I don't abuse my girls. That was an accident. And what is a paramour anyway?
Well, first, Carol, let me make mention in my notes of your statement of having only hit the child once, and that you said it was an accident. And for your clarification, a paramour is the term that the state of Texas uses to identify an intimate partner that is not a husband or a wife. Are we good thus far?
Yeah, I guess, but he is just a friend.
Okay, that's fine. Now, after the children were removed from the home, a state employee came out and interviewed you and your husband. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, that interview was what we call a Texas Department of Family and Protective Services home assessment for risk. Now, during the interview, a series of questions was asked to you. I've received the questions and your answers. And as your caseworker, I recognize that your family has several good strengths which will be beneficial to your case. However, Carol, there are some concerns that pose a risk that we need to address. And before we get into the concerns, please understand, Carol, that I'm not here to place any blame on you. But if I'm not totally honest with you, then how can I help you? Okay?
All right.
Okay, the first concern is that of the child with the bruise on the face. And you did admit to having hit your daughter, right?
Yes, but it was an isolated incident.
Okay, that's fine. But in the eyes of the state of Texas, that's considered to be physical abuse. And whether it was an accident or not, the law shuns physical abuse, especially concerning children. Now, the next concern is the allegations of drug use. Though you never admitted to any drug activity of yourself, your husband did confess, and there were allegations of use by your paramour. That, too, is unacceptable. Now, the children will not be allowed to return to a home environment where there's drug activity. I need you to understand that, okay?
I better get my children back, though.
Okay, we're going to get to that. Next, you admitted to the infidelity in your marriage, and that is also a concern. That's primarily a concern because it's causing you to be depressed. And whether you realize it or not, it's impossible for you to be an effective parent if your functioning is impaired. Now, our number one goal here is to get you the services that you need so that you will be able to adequately care for yourself and your children in a nurturing environment. Before we go any further, do you have any questions?
None of this time. Okay, Carol. I have gone over the report and spoken with your children. I have also talked with your children's teachers at school. Your children obviously love you very much, and they profess that you're the best mother in the whole wide world. They said they usually get time outs when you punish them, or they get punished by taking privileges away, and that you have never struck them before this incident. I am sure this was an isolated incident, and based on other reports, I'm inclined to believe that you're a good mother. My concern is what circumstances led up to this physical altercation with your daughter. Can you enlighten me?
I always try to be the best mother I can, and I'm sorry I let this get so out of hand. It was an isolated incident that I don't intend to let happen again. The night before, my husband Thomas and I had a huge argument. It was late and the kids had long been sleeping in bed, or so I thought. He was upset because I had been working late with a colleague from work and accused me of having an affair with him to get back at him for cheating. This is the alleged paramour that was mentioned in the report, but he used to be a close friend of both of us. In fact, he introduced us to each other. I can't speak for what my colleague does because I don't know. Anyway, one thing led to another and he called me a selfish bitch and spit off in his car. I was still upset the next day when I was dropping Sophie off at school. She was whining, trying to get me to let her have a sleepover, and when I firmly told her no, she screamed in her loudest voice, "Daddy's right, you are a selfish bitch." I had struck her before I realized it, and I've regretted it ever since. After the incident, when I allowed myself to calm down, I thought about it and realized that she had never been so disrespectful as to use profanity in front of me before. It was then that I came to the conclusion that she must have overheard our conversation from the night before. I had to have a good cry because our marital problems are affecting our children, and now they are showing signs of stress.
Carol, you appear to have been under some tremendous stress. First of all, it looks like you lost a good night's rest due to a heated disagreement with your spouse, which caused you to be on edge the next day. Then your daughter tried to have her way by using a disrespectful tone and used inappropriate language, which caused you to reflexively strike out at her. It's difficult when you're experiencing marital problems because it can be devastating to the relationship. It's also hard when you realize that it's affecting the children in a negative way. What issues do you feel we should address first of all as we move toward resolution of this situation, and how may I be of assistance to you?
I just want to get my life back together. I love my husband. I believe he loves me and the children. I think we may need someone's help, like maybe a marriage counselor, to get things straightened out and get past our bickering. I'm always so stressed out these days with everything that's on my plate lately. I wish I could relax more, but there's never enough time. Any suggestions you may have would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, Carol, let me clarify. You feel some counseling would be helpful, and perhaps learning some effective ways to handle stress in a timely fashion would help as well.
Yes, I think that would be an excellent idea.
Okay, I have a colleague here who would be more than happy to assist you with your marriage counseling. I met with your husband earlier today, and he expressed that he would very much like to get the relationship back on the right track. He also said that he had expressed his regret to you for his indiscretions. I'm sure you will both make a valiant effort to resolve your issues because you obviously care about each other and you want to keep your family together. We'll set up a meeting for tomorrow so that you and your husband can sign up for his 6-month counseling session. Also, you can both take a self-awareness course that is also offered here and will teach you alternative methods to alleviate and handle your stressors. It is held in conjunction with the marriage counseling and is individualized to meet each person's needs. Does that sound like it will work for you?
Yes, I think you will. Thanks for your help.
It was my pleasure, Carol. Now let's see what other issues we can address today.
So, Carol, now that I have provided you with some information regarding physical abuse, anger management, and stress coping skills, I want us to go ahead and try to apply some of these techniques here in my office today. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, thanks, Carol. First, I want to explore the reasons that brought you into my office today.
Well, y'all said I hit my daughter.
And didn't you admit that that was true?
Yes, but like I said, it was an accident.
How does that make you feel, Carol, saying that you hit your daughter out loud?
Well, it makes me feel like crap. I know what I did was wrong. I just get so overwhelmed and stressed out. I mean, I'm working all day long. Plus, I've been having problems with my boss at work. Then as soon as I get home, I have to pick up after my messy kids, wash dishes, do laundry, and cook. Plus, on top of all of this, I'm dealing with my poor chasing husband who had an affair. I just couldn't take it anymore. I blew up and I hit her.
Carol, I completely understand why you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed out. You have a lot going on in your life right now. I'm here to help you find ways to manage that stress.
Yeah, I could probably use some help.
Carol, earlier you said you discipline your children by using timeouts or taking away privileges. These are very appropriate forms of discipline. I want us to look at ways to help you catch yourself before you become too angry and lose control. I want you to close your eyes. Think about when you first get home from a stressful day at work. You just had a huge fight with your boss. You walk into the house. There's a mess. Your children are fighting, and you feel yourself becoming angry. What happens next?
I clench my fist. I can feel my face burning with anger, and I start to yell.
Good job, Carol. When this happens at home, this is a sign you are becoming overwhelmed. I want you to try to remove yourself from the situation. Step outside, get a breath of fresh air, and when you notice you're clenching your fist and your temperature increases. This is the triggering event that causes you to lose control. What is the thing you notice you get most angry at?
Well, when they disobey me, they never listen to me. I tell them clean up their room, come eat dinner, come inside, go to bed, and they don't listen. They just ignore me and keep playing. And they always make such a mess and never pick up after themselves.
Carol, I want to look at some reasons behind your children's behavior and ways to address this behavior. When your children ignore you or don't listen to you, what is the first thought that comes into your mind?
Honestly, I think they're rude and disrespectful, stupid kids. They're so loud and wild.
How does that make you feel?
It pisses me off. I feel like I can't control my kids. And then I get angry and yell at them.
So Carol, do you see the connection between your automatic thoughts that you have no control and how that affects your behavior, such as yelling or hitting your child?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, Carol, so what we need to do is change your thoughts in order to change your behaviors. Do you really think that that is true, that your children are purposely trying to be mean to you?
No, I don't. I know they're just kids and just want to play.
So Carol, in the future, when your children ignore you or don't obey you, and when you automatically first think that they're being rude and disrespectful, I want you to remove yourself from the situation. Step outside and remind yourself that you know that they're just kids and they enjoy playing. You are the parent and you are in control. Do you think you can do that?
Yeah, I can give it a try.
Okay, Carol, great. So for homework this next week, I want you to practice removing yourself from the situation and record in a journal your feelings of anger both before and after you step outside. Can you try that?
Yeah, I guess I can do that.
Great, Carol. You're making a lot of progress, and I'm impressed with your hard work so far.
So, we've had some good conversation today, and I appreciate you being so open and honest in today's session. Now I want to ask, out of everything we discussed today, what aspects of your life would you like to formulate some solutions for?
I'm not so sure. I just want my life to be good.
Okay, let's explore more what you mean by just wanting your life to be good. Imagine you went home today, you went to bed, and while you were sleeping, a miracle happened. And the issues that prompted you to come speak with me today were gone. When you wake up in the morning, what might be a change that occurred that makes you say to yourself, wow, something must have happened. The problem is gone.
To tell the truth, I probably don't know how life would be. I mean, I'm waiting on the day when there's some release of pressure.
Can you tell me what you mean by release of pressure?
Well, stress. I'm stressed out all the time.
What specifically is causing you to be stressed out?
I just have a lot of problems at work, And then I have to come home and do all the cleaning, all the cooking, bathe the kids, help with their homework. Everything is all on me.
This sounds very frustrating, Carol. Can you tell me how are you managing to cope with the stress to the extent that you have so far?
Honestly, I'm not coping that well. I mean, I'm so stressed out that I hit my child.
Can you tell me some ways that you think would prevent you from getting so stressed out to the point you feel you need to hit your child?
Maybe I could talk to my boss about delegating my work to other employees to take some stress off of me.
I think that's a really good idea, Carol. So as a homework assignment, do you think you'd be able to go and have a conversation with your boss about redelegating some tasks from you to some other coworkers to take some stress off of you? Does that sound doable?
Yes, that sounds doable. I will talk to my boss next week.
Okay, good. Are there any other issues that you want to start to formulate some solutions for?
Well, yes, my occasional drug use.
Can you explain to me what you mean by drug use?
I smoke cocaine every once in a while.
How often is once in a while for you, Carol? Is it once a week, twice a month? How frequently are you using drugs?
Like maybe once a month.
And when you use drugs, how much are you using?
I guess half a gram.
And what method are you using to use the cocaine?
I snort it.
Okay. Thanks, Carol, for being so transparent with me regarding your drug use. You stated you only use drugs once a month. What is different about the rest of the month that doesn't prompt you to use drugs?
There are no bills to pay the rest of the month, only around the first of the month.
So are you saying you only use when bills are due?
Yes, I use drugs after we pay all the bills, and then the bank account is right back low, and I'm worried about how we're going to make it for the rest of the month.
So for clarification, you use after bills are paid to kind of escape your financial issues and responsibilities?
Yes, that's correct.
So what ideas do you have on how we can address your drug use?
Well, I want to ask first, am I going to go to rehab?
Well, I'm not sure about that quite now. Have you ever heard of a drug assessment or done a drug assessment?
No, what's that?
A drug assessment is done to determine whether a drug problem is present, and if so, what level of treatment would be most appropriate. Treatments can range from no treatment at all to outpatient treatment to intensive inpatient treatment. Which treatment is recommended depends on what the assessment will reveal. Does that sound interesting to you?
Yeah, I think I would be interested in doing that.
Okay, good, Carol. I'm glad you're willing to participate in the drug assessment. Here's a business card of where you can go to have the assessment done. Do you think you'll be able to have the drug assessment done sometime this week?
Yeah, I'm off Thursday. I can go then.
Okay. Let's go ahead and stop here. I think this is a good starting point to solving some of the presenting issues that we discussed today. I know there are some more issues that we discussed that need to be addressed and formulate some solutions for, and we can discuss those next session. Just as a reminder, we formulated together 2 homework assignments for this week. The first was to talk to your boss about redelegating some of the responsibilities from you to another coworker to reduce some of your stress. And then the second was to go and have a drug assessment completed on Thursday. And if you have any questions or concerns, I'm available, so don't hesitate to call me. And thank you for coming in today, Carol, and I will see you next Sunday.
Okay, see you next week.